Warning, the following episode will contain spoilers for all published works of George R.R. Martin, as well as all aired episodes of Game of Thrones, but not anything leaked on the internet recently. We're not covering that stuff.
Alright, hello, welcome back to DragonCast for our Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4, The Spoils of War review, discussion, whatever the hell you want to call it. My name is Adam, I'm also known as drownedsnow on the forums. I'll be your host for the evening, and I'm joined by Paul.
Hey guys, I'm all Paul, SerDinnerRoll on the forums.
Katie.
This is Katie, LadyGriffin on the forums.
Matt.
Varley on the forums.
And White Raven.
Hey, it's Brett, White Raven on the forums.
All right, and we might have a couple surprise guests popping in. We just watched the episode, it just finished airing. None of us partook in the leaks for any of this episode or future episodes, whatever's floating out there. We all kind of managed to stay unspoiled for the spoils of war. Yeah, so I guess that was the big news this week. HBO has been hacked. Tons of internal documents and whatnot have leaked. And then I think it was Friday night or Saturday. Then a separate leak, I guess. The episode leaked on a streaming service in Asia or something. And then it was online and everybody was watching it. So, yeah, it's been an interesting week. I don't know if we'll have kind of the same thing going next week or not. But, yeah. So what did you guys think of the episode? We'll start with Matt.
I thought it was the fucking best thing ever. I'm still smiling, and I smiled all through the episode, and it was just, I did not expect the battle at the end. Everything that just seemed like, even like the Arya Brienne thing that could have been like superfluous, like we didn't need to see that. It was awesome seeing it. Like, I was just like laughing and smiling during the whole episode, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Bran
So
still
five out
Debbie
of 5
Downer.
for you then, Matt?
Yeah, give a goddamn number.
God damn it, shut up. I'll give them all of the lemon cakes. All your lemon cakes, I give to them.
Okay. Katie?
I'll give it a 4.5 this week.
Katie.
It was,
Ooh,
I know.
Down a notch.
I know. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really loved it. The one point the half point that I'm taking off though is for the cave scene with Johnny and Danny.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew
It's
you were going to
Janie.
hate that.
John and Danny. It was so goofy, and I can't decide if it was goofy in a way where I'm like loving it or if it was just really dumb. The little scratchings on the wall of the White Walkers, I'm like, John could have made those.
Right? I was like, they don't have to delete it where the Night's Watch carved those into themselves.
Do you see the caves? Look, there's small people and there's big people and there's scary people.
He'd just be like, Davos, carve fast. It's like, I can't, I got no fucking fingertips.
She's not going to come down here. It's okay. She's not going to come down here until you bring her. Yeah, she might.
Yeah, it was a little silly the way Danny is holding the torch and looking awe-inspired. I'm like, okay, I know it's pretty, but it's just a bunch of rocks. Like,
Well, yeah, and they did kind of a good pivot there, which we'll talk about when we get to it. And D&D were kind of golden after the show, talking about that scene. And man, I can't wait till we get to that. But let's move on. Paul.
5 out of 5. Fucking loved every second of it. Even, like, I'd say, like, the weakest part for me was the scene with Littlefinger and Bran at the beginning. But I still, like, enjoyed the heck out of that, too. So, yep, 5 out of 5 for me. I'm not, I don't know if I'm going to have any nitpicks. It might just be me sucking D&D's dick. I have no idea at this point.
Wow, good. That'll be interesting.
It's dicks plural, actually.
Brett.
Is it?
Them. You think they share a dick?
Seems like they have to share everything.
Jesus.
Brett, what did you think?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked, Adam. I'd give it a 4.5 only because Littlefinger is so terrible and I don't know what to say about him. But other than that, best episode is awesome. 4.5 out of 5.
Awesome. I'm gonna give it like at least a 5 out of 5, maybe. Who knows? Maybe higher. Just like, I don't know, like the stuff that we're gonna talk about, and we're gonna bitch about was like totally nitpicks, and it really doesn't matter. Like it's just stupid stuff that's like fun to kind of make fun of. But the whole episode was great. Like I mean, like Matt said, start to finish, I was smiling most of the time. We got a lot of stuff we've been looking forward to, a lot of stuff we weren't expecting. I mean, this was just a really, really solid episode, and right in the middle of the season. We don't really get such big action pieces right in the middle of the season like this. So, you know, they didn't do the CGI on Ghost, you know, arriving at Dragonstone, because they're like, man, we got to put it into this scene. So, you know, as much as it was basically, you know, like reminiscent of The Hobbit at the part there, but like whatever, it's fine. And let's just get right into it. So the episode opens up with Littlefinger. Before the episode, they show like all the past clips, and one thing I noticed was they mentioned the dagger and talking about how he lost it to Tyrion, yada yada yada. So we knew that was going to come up, and right away we cut to where we left off at the end of last episode. The gold train. The gold train's running on through Westeros, in the plains of Westeros. We got Bronn talking about how he really wants a castle, and like, hey, I'll just take Highgarden. And Jaime's like, that money's for the Iron Bank, all of it, I guess. But I don't really see what that has to do
Except for
with
your
castle.
purse full.
Yeah, which, you know, as we've learned, is not that much. But, you know, I don't know, he's so set on a castle, and I kind of get it. Like, give him a keep or something cool. You know, there's going to be a lot of lords that are gone, but...
he had one before you left on adventures, and now he doesn't.
Yeah, and then it got taken away. But right now,
like that,
they don't.
That garbage
it's not
down in
stable.
Dorne.
I'd rather have a chest full of gold right now, and like somewhere to put it, and the ability to cut out, than a castle that might get taken away in a month. I mean, it's a good point. So,
Did anybody else see the Bolton banners?
No, that's the striding huntsman of Tarly.
I thought I saw the upside down flayed man.
No, they look very similar. It's like a red
it's just
man.
an upside down striding huntsman.
No, yeah, they use the same ones.
They put it on the wrong way.
Okay,
Well,
so I was like, the
did...
Boltons are still with these fucking people?
No, you know, I mean, it's conceivable they left like a few guys, but they probably had a cut tail.
Okay, props department, we need to save some money. What do you have so that we can reuse?
Well, yeah, speaking of the props department saving money, I did see an article earlier that the Night's Watch cloaks were just IKEA rugs, and they just like distress the fuck out of them. Which I'm like, it perfectly makes sense now. But yeah, so we get more the Tarleys, and we kind of get a little bit of the, you know, the sad part of the battle and all that. But it's great because we get more of the like, what is it, like the Rickon Dickon bit. Like they won't let that go. So
we get Jaime telling Bronn to go rough up some peasants so that they'll starve to death when winter comes.
Yep.
And did you see like Tarly's kind of hesitation? It's like, well, these are kind of my people. Like,
yeah, that doesn't make much sense, does it? That Jaime is saying, go strangle your own peasants. I mean, technically, I guess this isn't Tarly's land. This is still Tyrell land. So I guess it doesn't matter, but you would assume that Tarly is going to get some portion of the grain come winter, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, I thought that maybe they promised them Highgarden.
I was going to say, how do you think they'd
feel?
But... They'd feel if Bronn got Highgarden, he's like, over my dead fucking body.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tarleys, I guess, are someone that at least they're from the area and they're nobles and shit. I don't know. So they don't seem to care about that sword at all. Like, it's never coming up, guys. It's never coming up.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my most prized possession. There's no way you can have it, Sam. Sam just like, I'm stealing it. And we're now months later, and he's just like, whatever. I never it's a decoration.
I
definitely just be like, respect,
like,
Sam.
You know what? If
all
they had Sam like go and like grab like another similar looking sword and just like swap it out, I'd be like, okay, he doesn't use it, he didn't notice. But
or Sam just grabbed the wrong one.
Yes,
they all look the same to me. I don't know.
They're gonna try to use it and it's gonna break.
Plastic.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's funny. Like, they made such a big deal of it, and they just dropped it, right? I wonder if they thought. I wonder if they thought they were going to do something with that. You know, they were going to have him like track him down in Old Town, and then they just kind of didn't have time. Maybe
They can
Sam's
still
bringing
do
that shit to
something
the
with
wall to fight with it.
he
Sam was
only
slaying
has
it.
he only has to go to Dragonstone. I mean, John's pretty close, right? So
I mean, everyone's close. I don't, the timelines don't fucking make sense at all. So he could be
Whatever.
close. I don't know.
yeah, not that it matters because again, it works for the narrative. But I guess like it took them a while to figure out that the Greyjoy fleet had been fucked over. But like the Highgarden thing, they got right away and like landed their ships and flew a dragon right away. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter.
So, what did Tarly tell Jamie? That men that are hungry will not be like if we say like no rations to the last people that come, like the wagon train will hurry up. Like I missed that part.
No. He's saying to beat him.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
like beating
Jesus.
stragglers. Sometimes like make things faster.
Anyway, yeah. So we go immediately from this and the discussion of castles and all the gold to Cersei talking with Tycho about said gold. I don't know. This was kind of a boring scene, but it was whatever. What do you think?
I mean, he basically was like, yes, everything is possible once we get the gold.
Right. I thought they were
Dolphins-
kind of heavy-handed on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means they're not going to get the gold or not, because they said in the other scene that all the gold got through, but they were just getting the food in.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it got
Right
all
at the
way
beginning
to
of that
King's
scene.
Landing, though.
No, I thought they said the gold was already in.
No, they
And they
said
were
the
just
gold is
getting-
on its way.
Yeah,
Oh,
like the
did
gold
they?
was like ahead of them a little bit.
No, I thought the gold was already there.
I think the idea was
gold is
that like
melted.
they sent they sent the gold ahead with like a more like a more agile force to kind of just rush it up the road before anything could happen. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like he's like, oh, we're gonna miss your interest payments. I'm like, was she making those? Didn't she cancel the interest payments? I seem to remember that being a thing, but maybe I'm confused because I didn't rewatch that season. So
Maybe he was just being funny. He's like, yeah, I missed those interest payments of $0.
Yeah.
he's just like, I'm gonna hang around here for a while. I like it here. Like I'm not going anywhere. Is the vibe I'm getting. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just wants to, he's just gonna hang around, and whoever is actually sitting on the throne, he's just gonna be like, gold. You owe me gold.
No, I think that he's going to hear this and turn completely on, like, turn everything on its head. Be like, we're reneging all response or like support for you. Like, not only that, but you'll find that we've hired a faceless man, and like somehow
And
the
it's
mountain will
me.
come or something. Yeah. Like, Mycroft is not long for this world because he's going to make an aggressive move against Cersei, and of course she's going to take like awful revenge on him.
And the mountain's going to eat him.
Oh my
Or maybe Ilaria Sand will eat him. I mean, they got to feed her somewhere. I
Oh
wanna
my
give him-
gosh. Okay. I think we've exhausted
I think if
ourselves
Cersei
here.
was going to feed her, it'd be her daughter a little bit at a time.
Oh goodness. Okay. Littlefinger. He's in the next scene, and he gives Bran that Valyrian steel dagger that he's just been hanging on to for quite a while.
Because it was his.
Because it's no, bro. But like
pretty
it was
neat.
mine, but I totally lost it to Tyrion, and
Is that
I
the
thought
show
you might want
canon?
the thing that tried to kill you. That's what
The
he
show-
said.
The show canon, I don't remember because in the book it's Joffrey's dagger, isn't it? And in the show, I guess it's always been Littlefinger's dagger.
Well, in
No,
the
well-
book, it was. They just thought it
Robert.
might be Joffrey. It was never. it
Well,
was
in
Robert's
the book,
dagger.
it's never fully stated, but it's heavily implied, I think, by Cersei and others that that was one of Robert's daggers, and like Joffrey just went and got it and like hired someone to do it. On the show, they imply that Cersei is the one who hired the assassin.
Right, with the it must have been somebody pretty rich.
Right, but it
and
was still.
who's left.
I don't
Just
think they
Cersei.
ever. I don't remember if they ever said anything about the ownership of the dagger not being Littlefinger's, but they definitely did reveal that. Yeah, he didn't lose that to Tyrion. Like that's bullshit.
It is hilarious that Littlefinger is so bored that he just goes around the castle sucking up to the Stark children. I'm your cool new uncle.
Again, like they've turned him into like someone please side with me, and he just
He
keeps going around like, aren't I so clever? Here's a
He
knife.
looks so
Like,
tired.
what the hell, dude? Like, he's like, I love how he's tried so hard. Like, he's such a tryhard. He's like, yo, Lord Stark. I ain't Lord Stark.
Every time, like,
here's this dagger.
Every time he tries to suck up to one of the Starks and they just rebuff him, we just need a wah wah over the soundtrack.
I mean, it's so crazy what he's become. But his men are there kind of either way, I think. So if something were to happen to him, it's kind of been established enough. Like, there could be attacked by like the others or something, and they all realize, like, screw him, because they're technically there because Rob and Aaron said, like, go help Sansa.
Where is he even alive? Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him in like 2 seasons.
Yeah, we saw. No, it was early
still at Runestone,
last
isn't he?
season, and yeah, he did the little thing where like he officially gave the word or whatever. But obviously it was Littlefinger pulling all the strings.
Obviously.
What does chaos is a ladder mean?
That is something
something that he said.
Yeah.
That's what Bran said.
No, but that's
something.
Littlefinger's speech that he gave to Varys. I don't even know what season it was.
Season 3 when we lost Roz.
Yeah, it was over the scene where Roz gets shot up by Joffrey, but it's always been a really dumb speech because that metaphor can be anything. I think I even said that on that VOK episode we did. Chaos is a pencil sharpener. Chaos is a stapler. It could be anything.
The whole point is that Littlefinger said it, so that you're like, oh, okay. And Littlefinger's like, how the fuck do you like?
Of course, I knew. I was testing you guys. Yeah.
Great work.
Littlefinger's like, how do you know I say this? And Bran should have been like, because you repeat it to fucking everybody.
Yeah. So after this horrible, awkward attempt to win over Bran and not really understanding what the hell's going on, Mira shows up and says, like, I gotta go home. I don't want to leave you. I think she's wanting him to say, like, I'll come with you or stay or something. And he's just like, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, it's best that you do. It's like an awkward, like,
it's probably you've done your
one-night
job.
Stand. It's like,
And she brings up
bye, buddy.
For the first time, like, oh, my brother died for you. I'm like, she didn't seem as broken up with it over that in the past, I guess. But now all of a sudden, like, Jojen exploding, like, we're like, what? We're gonna remember that.
This poor character. Like,
yeah.
She deserved better, but there's nothing else for her to do, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I hope is she going to show up again, you think, or is she just gone?
I think she's gone.
You don't think we're going to get the reads in any way?
No. Well, no. That's extraneous at this point.
She'll show up to weep over Bran's dead body.
But after they kill off half the characters this season, next year maybe they'll bring them in for support. Maybe.
Don't you figure the Reeds need to defend the North from like Cersei's attack that somehow she'll be able to mount? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
everyone needs to show up.
Does she even have any troops left?
So at least her army should be going the right way.
Like, why exactly do you want to be home when they arrive? Like, I guess you don't know where they're going to show up, but once you know where they are, I would assume everyone's going to go there. Like, everyone's going to abandon their castles and try to fight these people, right? Instead of just like letting them take castles one at a time.
I think about the White Walkers or the Dothraki or who are we talking about?
No, like the Night King and everything. Like, she's saying she wants to be home when like the army of the dead arrives, and I'm like, well, if they've gotten all the way to you, like you've already lost.
She's like, we're in the bog; they can't get to us. Like,
yeah,
our castle freeze over.
Like, it's never in the same place, so I think we're okay.
They can't stand mosquitoes.
The whole point of the Reeds, supposedly, I mean, I guess from a narrative function in the book, is that Helen Reed is supposedly this keeper of knowledge that eventually the story is going to require to exposit. But there is no point to the Reeds in the show beyond dragging Bran around the North. And so now that that's over, there's really no reason for her to come back. Now
that Bran is here to give that information. So
yeah.
Okay, so next we get.
Well, I also think it's interesting that Bran like can't remember, kind of like Beric. Like, it's almost like his brain can only hold so many memories, and he's like pushing off old Bran memories.
Is it that he can't remember, or that he remembers too much? Like, he like remembers so much that he can't remember like how to be a fucking human anymore. Is what they're trying to tell us, right?
Yeah, it seems like he's got like one of those like manic minds going on, but they've lit him up with so much Thorazine.
He's like, I would be sad about Jojen, but like I've watched like 500,000 deaths, like and so I'm just kind of over it.
Yeah.
He's watching the dragon scene at the end of the episode, like while he's talking. He's like, "Dude, like Jojen is."
Why are you all panicking? This is gonna be fine. I can see the dragons. They're gonna save us.
It makes it seem like tapping into the werenet is like getting in contact with a greater all soul. Like all the werewoods are kind of part of one giant organism. So maybe, being part of this greater creature makes you individually very insignificant or dilutes your boundaries to that greater creature in some way. I mean, I think that's giving, I don't think the lore of the werewoods has been developed very much in the show, but if I had to guess, I think that's what they're kind of aiming at, is that he's become assimilated to something greater, and Bran as a person doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah, and I think I'm getting a little better with this, like, I don't know, because this whole change seemed really sudden, and we were like, why wasn't Bloodraven acting so much like this? But he had kind of years to adjust, and I guess I see what they're doing now. It just, I feel like some of the groundwork maybe could have been laid a little better, but like I'll dive in here. It's fine.
Well, like when he says chaos is a ladder, that's like a cool like little like thing of his powers. But it seems like every scene is just like, dude, show us something. Like you're just like, people are trying to act off of you. Like, oh, it's great to see you again. We love you. We're all like brother and sister. And he's just like, yeah.
He's like, I saw that shit you took earlier. There was corn in it.
He left his heart in the frozen north. It's gone now. He doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
So anyway, we'll come back to Bran in a little bit. Right now we get Arya, and she's on the cusp of Winterfell, and we see it off in the distance. And I mean, this whole sequence I really loved because, she's finally home. The guards are fucking assholes. Like, whatever. I mean,
was anyone concerned she might kill them?
Yes. I was like, we get peaceful Arya. Fantastic.
I thought she was just like, well, I'm getting into here. I'm going to stab your throats, and then people will recognize me, and it's okay.
I was worried she was going to leave. Like, she looks around, she's like, oh, I don't belong here anymore, and then she cuts and runs.
Yeah, exactly. I thought once she was kind of sitting around and everything was different, and I think they say after the episode that it's like, Odysseus coming home and no one recognizes him, and I thought maybe she was just going to be like, oh, you know what, I need to go kill Cersei, yeah. But, I mean, these guys are kind of dicks. My question is, like, why are they stopping a little girl from coming in to the castle? Like, if the gate's open, you would think it's for people to go in and out doing business. If they don't want anyone coming in, the gate would be fucking closed. So why are they giving her such a hard time?
She's not a little girl, though.
Well, I mean, but she could be working in she could be having a task to do, right?
She has a sword.
Yeah. But for like such shitty guards, like, and Sansa fully expects that everyone will retreat to Winterfell. They're gonna be like sitting out there. The queue's gonna be like huge, like down to the Wintertown, like as they check IDs, and they're like, all right.
Hey, this is a fake. You're not from the north.
Yeah.
Please take off your shoes. All your metal objects need to go through the detector.
No blades, no bows. Leave your weapons here.
Fucking Westerosi TSA.
How many ounces is that?
Yeah, so I mean, whatever. It was kind of a funny little scene, and we get to see her talking about how badass she is. Sansa immediately knows, like, well, if it's Arya, she's down in the crypts, and this whole sequence is great because we get the mention of the list, and like Sansa clearly thinks it's a joke, and she's like, "Oh, this is so funny," and then. For some reason, the Freys don't come up. She doesn't mention like, "Oh, all the Freys are dead," by the way. Which, I mean, I guess that's maybe a little heavy to just drop on her, especially saying I'm the one that did it. But then in the next scene, we run into Bran, and he's like, "Oh yeah, so that list you've been checking off names," and the look on Sansa's face is just priceless.
So these two kind of scenes back to back with Bran and Arya and Sansa, and it comes back up in the next scene with Sansa. It's like is she realizing that she's like the only Stark that hasn't leveled up to supernatural power?
Kind of. Like, she's not the king. She's not a badass like fighter. She's not creepy magic.
I think she has a different type of power, though. Like,
yeah.
She has a power that Arya could never have, like just her diplomatic ability. I know she hasn't showed it off much, but it's there because everybody listens to her. And
Yeah,
I
but
think they're
that's
trying to
like
set
being
that
like
up.
but that's like being like Lex Luthor and being like super smart versus Superman. It's like, well, he could do all this shit, but like I could do stuff with like I could think about it, Like, but everyone's like, oh, look, he can fly. He's like, obviously, he got the better powers. Like, I think they're just more visible. Like, Bran just spouting nonsense and Neo-style Matrix fighting.
Are we talking about the look of slight dismay that Sansa gives when she's watching Arya fight? Is that what we're talking about? If I had to read into that, I guess my thought is that Sansa seems constantly very legitimately worried that she is going to become powerless or dependent on other people. And I think there's a slight dismay that her younger siblings very obviously don't need her in a way that she might need them. I mean, if I had to read into it, sometimes I can't quite parse out what Sophie Turner's face is supposed to be doing. But I think she could be. I mean, that could be what she is, or she could just be impressed. Like, holy shit, my little sister is a killer now. But yeah, I think there is a slight. Putting that together with that knowing look, smirk that Littlefinger gives her, I think she is once again put out by the fact that she is not needed.
He'll need her to wheel around in his chair.
Yeah, when he encounters a set of stairs.
To me, Sansa. Yeah,
I think he does need her because she's the one that controls all the troops. They're not going to listen to Bran. They're not going to listen to Arya.
Jon gets. I mean, she's only in charge until Jon gets back.
But she's still. I mean,
If
she
Jon
is
gets
the
back.
Lady of Winterfell, right? Like, I mean, like she's Jon's like, you're my heir, even at this point. Like
Did he
she's
say that?
basically. Well, I feel like that's what was said, like at the end of the season or early in this season. That was kind of implied. Like, if anything happens to me, you're next.
But now
But,
Bran is back, and that's in jeopardy because
Right. I
whether
think
Bran wants it or
everyone
not,
probably
he's-
thinks the same thing. Everyone probably thinks that, like, oh well, Bran is the next Stark, but Bran is very clearly like, nope.
No, you talk to that guy, he's fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, but it puts her in a place where it's like when Jon comes back, all this power she has goes away. She can be overruled. Bran, because he's a male, he can not usurper, but like his claim takes precedent over hers. Arya
Right.
doesn't need protection. She can do whatever she wants. She's capable. She's physically, able to fight and defend herself. Sansa doesn't have any of that. So I think when she's reminded of that, that's what Littlefinger's knowing smirk is like, you got to do something about this. Like, you need to get a foothold that can't be taken away from you.
You're right, but like I think it, like especially in this episode, it just and last episode where he's like, no, I'm the three-eyed raven. So like he pretty much like I don't know, denounced his claim to Winterfell, like whatever other people might be like.
Twice too. I mean, he does it to Littlefinger. Like
She should be like, Bran, I think you should go up and take the black because you pretty much are giving this up anyway.
yeah, like why don't you just stay at Castle Black? But he hasn't really explained what's been up with him or his he's just sort of been quietly like, I know things and I've been places, and it's like, okay.
Also, were like the two guards completely incompetent in this episode, and like the two guards that let Bran in last episode, like totally chill, like be like, oh dude, you say you're Bran? Oh, we'll get Lady Sansa, like she'll want to really see you. But these guys are like, yeah, right, Arya Stark, all right, go fuck yourself.
Well, how many other cripples are there in the north?
I did like, going back a little bit, I do like the Sansa Arya reunion wasn't just a retread of the Bran Sansa reunion where they, run up and embrace and the music swells. It was more,
up.
we're reminded
Bran
that,
didn't run.
well, okay, you know what I meant. But we're reminded that they didn't really get along ever to begin with.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, like, there is a relief and a love there, but there's also like
An
not- I
awkwardness?
wouldn't even
There's that
do it,
moment
an
of
awkwardness.
pause that Sansa kind of like, Arya's sitting there waiting to see what she does, and Sansa takes a second to, I think that was very subtle.
If
but
Jon
good.
was here, his heart would stop. Oh, Jesus, it's not even beating. What are you talking about?
I know.
What? Oh my goodness.
I like how they call out that the statue doesn't look anything like Sean B.
It's such an ugly statue.
Well, they didn't have license for his likeness after season 1.
Sansa does look very grown up though. Like she just looks so grown up in this episode. I mean, she has all season. But...
In some ways, hasn't she kind of become what she always wanted? Like before the series started, she wanted to become like the lady, and I mean that's
she
what
wanted
she
to be
is.
fucking
But now,
queen, man.
Now she's the kind of like the lady of her home.
Who the fuck is
now
her
she
Florian?
realizes like, well, maybe that's not the best. Maybe there's more that I could be, and maybe she, I don't know.
No way is this what she dreamed of. She dreamed of having like the perfect knight for a husband and all that, or perfect lord or whatever.
Well, yeah.
This is not what she dreamed of. A creepy guy
Dude, she
just
got
hanging over her shoulder.
and Ramsay.
A creepy guy that's like 3 times her age. Like what?
Yeah, I mean, when she had this dream, she was also 12. So,
Well, that's my point. Is that like she's gotten older and realized like, oh, there's kind of more to life.
It didn't match what was on the box. Got it.
Yeah. All right, like Maisie Williams is one of those unfortunate faces where she's always going to look 12 years old, no matter how old she is. I sympathize. I have a face like that, where people still mistake my age for being like 13, and I'm 28. So I feel a little bad. Like Maisie Williams is adorable, but she's also, I think she's going to be adorable for the rest of her life, and that's unfortunate.
But hold on to that feeling.
One of those actresses that plays a high schooler like at 35.
Yeah, but then you start like getting old, like Elijah Wood, and you still kind of look young in places, but you're looking old, so you kind of just look creepy.
Yeah, Elijah.
Is that the way it's going?
Jeez, what are you saying, Brett?
Elijah Wood, he looks the same as he always has. He hasn't changed at all, like facially. He has more hair now than he did. Yeah.
More and less.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the main takeaway here anyway is that Arya gets that sweet Valyrian dagger because Bran's like, I don't need this shit, I can't walk. And and then we move on to the scene of the night, sort of.
This dagger better have a payoff, and it's not just like, we're trying to sell this dagger, guys.
Well, I guess like she can kill others with it, right?
Kill Littlefinger if.
Yeah, I think she's gonna kill Littlefinger.
I really hope so. I hope Littlefinger is on her list or something now. Yeah.
Brent's gonna be like, hey, I gotta tell you something. Can't say it in front.
Because Bran should know. Did Bran say something about a letter, or I don't know?
No, that was a ladder. That was a ladder.
The ladder. right. I'm like in my cups a little bit. So we get Dany and Missandei walking along, and like suddenly, sad Jon Snow down to the left. And he's just like looking at them like a puppy dog, like, what's going on? And like there's eyes, and she's got eyes, and you're like, what the hell are they doing right now? And he's like, I want to show you this dragon glass, my lady. And, and then so we walk to this cave without really any escort. She just walks kind of by herself down there, where Jon Snow could just fucking murder her in the dark. And we get all the fucking dragon glass. I mean, I don't know. This could be our stone dragon, whatever. I don't really care. And we get our pictographs on the wall with, look, man, look at these swirly pictographs. And then small people with tall people and scary people.
They're not regular kids.
It's crazy because basically we talk about how Dragonstone is this place of alliance, and long before, the Targaryens ever showed up, the first men and the children were there. That's super cool. And you're like, oh, great. And Dany's like, I will fight for your people in the north. And like, she seems moved. And then a second later, she's like, when you bend the fucking knee, bitch. Which is maybe like the best part of the episode. And
I actually thought Jon was going to I thought Jon was actually going to bend the knee right there. Like, I actually thought he was going to do it.
He's like, well, I kind of, he's going to bend the knee and give her the Lord's kiss.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like last time I was in the cave with a girl, I bent the knee.
So, because they're very clearly making eyes at each other, and you're like, where the fuck is this coming from? I guess because we knew they were maybe going to do this.
Well,
but like
Dany
at the end of the episode, like afterwards, D&D are like, it's nothing we wrote, but it's just like you can see it. And I'm like, yeah, it's definitely nothing you wrote, guys. Like. What the
Dany
hell?
was in the mood after talking to Missandei about her sex with Grey Worm.
But they also talk about the cave, and they're like spiral patterns, and they're just like really significant all over the world. So they do like
they like made canon out of this.
I'm like, wait, what? At least they were like when George told us the spiral patterns. They're just like spiral patterns.
Oh
we
God,
see
that's
them
right.
everywhere.
That's true. That's in the show when they find the spirals of bodies up
Yeah.
north. I forgot
but
about
that's
that.
not in the books. They like
So-
made it
The
into
dead
canon for
horses
no
and
reason.
everything.
Yeah.
It's just a visual touchstone of, oh yeah, remember this is a White Walker thing. They're all about
Yeah.
building
But it
spirals.
was just funny the way they talked about it. So this was a cool scene, but then like Danny demands bend the knee, and then she gets news of what the fuck, Highgardens fell too, and she's like, John, you don't go anywhere because now I kind of need you maybe, and she's like, Tyrion, you suck. John, what should I do? Like, she's a little fickle right there.
I was getting so frustrated here. I was like, oh, great. They're going to put off using dragons again for another episode to save their CGI budget. I may have been incorrect.
Well, we saw like the next time on where, you see the picture of her flying around, and so you kind of assume, or her like on Drogon in like a fire. So I just assumed she was going to show up and burn shit by herself. But anyway, so I guess John, kind of gives her advice without giving her like really any advice.
Says don't kill don't kill civilians. That I guess is
Yeah.
the
Don't kill them
reiteration.
directly.
Yeah.
Destroy all their food. So
Just
they
starve
can't
them
eat.
out. But don't burn them with animals, nuclear dinosaurs. Let's take
Yeah,
that
and
off the table.
there's a good point to be made that like, well, your enemies just took Highgarden and they're marching home, so now here's a point where you can, face them on the field without having to like burn castles and villages. And now we've got like the dragons flying over. That's a whole other bit. But
Yeah, John's like, the people in the north won't allow me to bend the knee. It's like, they don't give a shit who the fuck they serve as long as they don't get killed.
Yeah, I mean, the people in the north were fine with Bolton ruling the north, huh?
Yeah, and I think she made a great point because he's like, look, my people, they won't trust anyone from the south. This is terrible. And she's kind of not from the south. Like she's sort of a foreigner who has dragons, and dragons are pretty compelling. But she does make a good point of like, you're in charge. Like they'll like if you lead and give them an example to follow, and it's compelling enough, you give them the reasons. Like they'll fall in line.
Yeah, he's made his point that like survival is what matters, and if that's
So
true,
do it.
Yeah, then it shouldn't matter who's in charge. Just bend the frickin' knee.
Well, no, he still has a good point from the previous episodes that, like, I can't bend the knee, and then you're going to tell me to take my men south to help you. Like,
Yeah,
that's his main point is, like, I can't follow your orders right now. Like, I don't think he really cares so much about bending the knee. I mean, he can convince the northern men, like, after the war is over, he'll fucking give her the sword, and he'll, like, leave the country if he has to. I don't think he cares. But right now, I don't know. She's still focused on the wrong things to him.
Mhm.
So,
But I mean, all this is leading up to them getting married to.
or at least creating a bastard,
And-
at least.
And,
What?
and did anyone else think that they were holding hands when they left the cave?
For a
Because
second,
I saw
yeah.
it like
And skipping.
Well, that's as one does after one gives and receives the Lord's kiss.
So how do we? I mean, I guess because are they going to spend a lot of time on Dragonstone before getting home and Jon finding out that he's a Targaryen? I
guess.
mean, like if they're doing a romance thing where these guys have to hook up, it's got to be without that knowledge.
I would like if Danny came back and John was just gone with one of her dragons. He's pissed out. It's like
Like,
it
what
seemed
is
to
it?
like me. Had to go.
I guess my question, and this is my question in the books as well, is who cares if Jon is a Targaryen? What impact on anything does that have other than a curio of information?
Well, if he could ride a dragon, that's kind of I think the part where it matters. Like the whole like who has a claim, and like Danny might be like, oh, we're related, and might treat him a little differently. But other
Right,
than
but-
that,
Well,
like it's just
he'll
someone riding a
instantly
dragon.
become more attractive to her.
But,
my brother,
like,
my brother told me my whole life how we were supposed to get married.
but laws of succession would still favor Aegon over Jon because Aegon was born first.
Aegon doesn't exist. in the
who's
show.
Aegon?
Yeah, who are you
Who's
talking
Aegon?
about?
Yeah, we're talking. We're
No,
not
I know
talking
in the
about
books.
the books.
I'm saying.
But even in the books, yeah. But like it, and again, laws of succession, I don't really think are going to come up here and won't matter. But yeah, I think the part that matters is if he's going to be able to control one of these dragons and make them useful. Because especially in the books, like without a rider, they're not particularly useful. Like last season, they like all of them just flew together and burned the fuck out of those ships and followed Dany.
That seemed
that's
pretty
not
useful.
supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Well, like
that was
like,
okay.
like
I
in
guess-
the book, they're supposed
sorry.
to have a rider. Is
Yeah.
all I'm saying. Here, maybe it doesn't matter.
Like in the books, it's heavily leaned toward there being obviously the three heads of the dragon: Tyrion, Dany, Jon. In the show, like Tyrion hasn't been suggested at all or hinted at to be a Targaryen, so it's like I guess there's no third dragon rider, or this it's just gonna.
Other than that scene last year where he like took the chains off the dragons and they didn't eat him, they were kind of like, okay, whatever.
Was that only last season?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yep.
god!
Oh, shit.
I know.
Yep. So I mean, and people at the time were like, "See, oh, secret Targaryen," but yeah, they haven't laid any ground for that, and I don't know if they would, but they might just be like, "Oh, look, he's riding a dragon. Well, that's weird. It works." Like, I'm cool with that. That's fine. He just has to get a saddle made. Alrighty then. So I think we're done with this scene.
Moving on.
Let's take a Raven up back to Winterfell, and we'll get the scene that you referenced earlier. With Pod and Brienne, doing their shit, and Arya walks in and wants to train.
God knows why.
Man.
She's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
and
just like,
also
it's been
Pod
so
sucks.
long since I've trained. Like, is she thinking like it's been so long since I've trained at arms, like Sirio, really, like properly, training? Because she's gotten a lot better since then.
Yeah, who trained you? No one. Nice.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
nice. And then like I like how Brian's like, that sword's way too small. It's okay, it won't hurt you. Like, it's so great.
I won't cut you. That's fine.
I still feel like that sword would have bent with some of the blows she was like trying to parry there.
Yeah, but I gotta agree. How long has Pod been Brienne's squire?
Not long enough, apparently. She's a shitty teacher. That's what we know. She just beats on him every episode.
He's just covered in bruises. That Tormund one.
Like she's like way stronger than him too.
She's like, "Put your sword in the way." He's like, "Tell me how to do this."
Did you see that look he
So-
kind of gave her, like, kind of like midsection to head? Like he was like,
What?
Who did he give that to?
When they're sitting in like Winterfell's court, like right before the training montage, where they see like Arya pushing Bran and Sansa following them, and they go somewhere, and he's like, "Lady Stark would be proud. You kept your vow and like protected the two girls are here together." And then he like looks her up and down, and's like,
How you doing?
"Yeah, exactly."
I guess I missed that part. But yeah, speaking of that, so Arya does mention that, hey, like you swore to protect and serve both Stark daughters, and Sansa's conveniently just sitting there watching. She likes to watch them train for some reason. And
There's nothing else to do.
She's just like, I'm gonna.
Yeah, if they
watch.
didn't have TV or internet, it's like,
I think she just likes watching like a big woman beat up on a man. 'Cause
She just
it feels
she's
good for
learning
her.
from Littlefinger. You just stand around and creepily watch people do things.
But yeah, so she seemed a little like kind of like, oh wait a second, she did say she was sworn to protect Arya. Shit, now I've only got 50% of this chick.
It was a good scene. I enjoyed this little fight.
yeah, me too.
It was
And I
well
like how they-
choreographed.
Yeah,
like
very.
how they ended up like as equals. Like Brienne had the sword like going into Arya, and Arya had like the dagger going into her, and it's like they
yeah,
end up
immediately putting use
Great.
to that dagger.
I do like the contrast in the styles and the choreography where, Brienne has all the power, but it also takes way too much time and momentum, and Arya is just, dancing all over the place. Like she doesn't have the force, but she has the speed. It's really cool.
I wish
I
she had
did-
said "fast as still water" or "calm as still water," "fast as still water."
Swift as a deer.
I'm moving.
Fast as the water.
fast like a glass of water.
I just wish she'd said something that Sirio had said to her, just because it would have been a nice callback.
It was nice when she did her little spiral kick up and went down like a cat, like.
Yeah, it was great.
I love
we
when
see that
she-
she can handle larger.
Just like her flipping the dagger out was amazing.
She's come a
Yeah,
long way
that,
since the
like,
Hound told her
spin,
you can't fight.
Well,
Yeah.
when the Hound was like, when she was at the Hound, she was still doing cartwheels and shit, and wasn't as effective. But,
Right.
yeah. She seems more confident with it, not just her, like the character, but the actress as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I find this scene completely unnecessary, and if it was in a shit episode that we wanted plot to be moved along, and we're like, what did this do? But like,
It was
smiling,
awesome.
and I was just like, awesome. I'm like through this whole scene.
This was frosting on top of the cake.
Yeah.
I look forward to next week when she shows the Hound that like he can't fight with her.
Yeah,
because there's going to be that reunion, I'm sure, soon, and because we only got a few more episodes left. So.
A lot of reunions.
Yeah, guys. Opening sequence, we got the wall, and I was like, oh, about time we fucking saw back up there. It wasn't on the show.
Opening sequence? What?
They're just but they also had Old
Oh, you
Town,
mean-
and we didn't go back
You
to
mean
Old Town.
yeah, we had Old Town
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So in the credits,
Oh, you mean the
they
credits?
have to
Right.
put enough things in that it's like a certain amount of time for the opening, I think, to play the music. So eventually
just
they're
linger
all
on
going to be in
Winterfell.
one place, and it's just going to like go to Essos Marine. Remember this? Like you're like, why are they showing us this stuff?
Make
Well,
it
yeah, they're
build
just
the
killing
city
time.
really slow.
Let's see, where do we go from here? John and Davos having a chat about, if it wasn't obvious enough from the weird looks in the cave, like John's kind of got a thing for the Dragon Queen.
Yeah, Davos had to let us
Um,
know.
And then he's
Yeah,
like,
because I
"Oh."
certainly couldn't tell from Kit Harington's
I
acting. Like,
It was like one of those awkward like SNL videos or something, like two people staring at each other, like
That's how he
their
stares at people
eyebrows
he
going
likes.
up and down wildly.
I guess they're in
Apparently-
love, whatever.
It's
So
weird.
there's
He
like
has
a-
the same love for Davos, from what I can tell. They both he looks at them both the same way.
Using the same looks. Yeah, well, maybe it was more Danny's looks. I don't know.
You know when he talked to Tyrion earlier, he wanted to fuck him. I could tell. He was looking right at him.
Your
Is that not a good
erection was
word? I don't
visible.
know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, and then he talks about like, oh, speaking of hotties, here's Missandei, and then they have this interesting talk about like, are you free? Could you leave if you wanted to? So this is probably meant to set something up, but it does seem a little out of the blue.
Also, I love Stannis, but cut his fucking head off. He was just about to trade like to the other side. Like a bit, isn't that treason?
You mean Davos?
Davos, yeah. That's right.
Yep.
Stannis already
Stavros.
got his head cut off.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought this was a nice like if John was, I don't know if the showrunners meant this, but it was like kind of a throwback to Mace when she's like, we follow her because we think she's the right queen. Kind of like above the wall, he like got everybody together because they wanted to follow him.
and which is
Or
why
Mace
was
Mance Raider.
following.
Oh
which is
yeah,
why
I was
Davos
about,
Stannis.
I was-
Yeah,
I was really
like he
confused.
was following Puffy and Mace. Back
Yeah,
in the
Mace
90s.
Tyrell. Yeah.
No, so Mance, like
But yeah, I felt like this scene was. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good scene for establishing, like, or at least showing to like Davos and John that these aren't just like servants and slaves and crazy Dothraki she's brought over. These are people who like believe in her. Like the Dothraki it's almost like the Dothraki are kind of her cult because they saw her like burn alive all their leaders, and then she has a dragon.
and walk through
and-
fire.
Yeah, and then for like the Unsullied and the Missandei, like she granted them their freedom, and she's like, you don't have to follow me. But then they're like, but we do want to follow you because we
You give
kind of
us a
fucking owe you.
paycheck.
We owe you, yeah. And what else are we gonna do, really?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's I think Danny's case is pretty compelling, and what she's done is pretty significant. But also, for people that didn't see it and that don't really understand, I guess it's a valid question. Like,
But I mean, it still comes down to the same like Danny argument where it's like she wants everyone to be free and wants no slaves, but as long as she's the ruler.
But bend the
Right.
goddamn knee.
Yeah, fucking bend the knee.
That kind of reminds me of like Renly, where he's like, I don't care what you do, but I'm your king.
Right. Where he's like, he could call himself the king of the north. I don't care about titles. I just care about loyalty.
yeah. As long as you send me cash, like I just need lots of cash. The realm is bankrupt. Robert was an idiot. Oh man. Okay. So, and then we cut to Theon. Like, is that a lone Greyjoy ship that survived the Greyjoy fleet? The only one, apparently.
And no one seemed alarmed. Like, they weren't like, is that a red eye? Does it have not a red eye? Like,
well, it did look kind of beat up, and I don't know. It's one ship, so
yeah, who cares?
Whatever. Yeah. So we do get this moment. For a second, like when so Theon washes up and there's Jon there, and I'm like, I kind of thought it was Robb for a second. I was like, oh, Robb's gonna give him shit because they were best boys, and I'm like, no, that's not Robb. He's, I mean, like,
he's a long dead friend.
Yeah, they knew each other well enough, and it's kind of the same. But I guess I was kind of like wanting to have that moment where Robb's like, what the fuck, Theon? And then it made me sad. So yeah, he decides not to kill Theon because, well, he doesn't really have any weapons, and he's surrounded by Dothraki. But also, because he helped Sansa out.
I feel like he should have just killed Theon right here and saved the money they would have paid Alfie Allen to have Ghost come around for an episode.
Yeah, we can invest it in something else.
Fuck Theon.
Yeah.
What's the point of him?
The point
right now,
him,
no idea.
The point was for him to ask for Dany, and then to be told, she's not here. Dun 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 dun.
Oh right, and then the episode ended. Right.
And then you're like, well, what's going on now? Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Wyoming.
Next week, what's going to happen? Oh wait, yeah, there was one more scene. So we get
it's more a collection of scenes, but like,
yeah, this whole, we're all in one location, I guess. So it's all one big thing here with the Lannister train keeps on a rolling. Rickon, Dickon.
Braun is so good.
Braun is the best, man. This whole thing, like, some of this was just ridiculous, and I was like, whatever, but I still loved it. I absolutely loved it. So
Yeah, like when the horses are running through the fire, I'm like,
yeah, and then like at one point, like this, like so. Okay, let's just go through it, and we'll get to it. So
she's like, have the horses drink my blood, and they'll be immune to fire.
Like I almost expected, like for some reason, Jaime's the only one that hears the horde coming, and so I was like, oh,
not
why
Jaime,
didn't he just
Braun. Braun was.
Yeah. But Jaime like rallies everybody is what it was.
Yeah,
and
Jaime
no
has
one else
heightened senses because
notices.
he's missing a hand.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He can feel things with his other hand from far away. But yeah, so he's calling to make the spear wall and all this shit, and I thought like, oh well, like it's just Dany with her dragon. Like how can he hear that from so far away? I didn't really think for a second that we were going to get this giant battle, and all of a sudden, all of these horses come charging.
And Dany's so trolling them because there's no reason you should see the horses before the fucking dragon.
She was just sitting there on the ground, like, go, I'll wait.
I'll wait in this cloud. You guys go.
This scene like starts, and then they're like, wait a minute, what the fuck's that sound? I remember looking at my cell phone. It was 9:38. I'm like, holy shit, we're getting this battle this episode. And then it was like, okay, I'm on board for whatever happens.
So you buckled in.
Yeah, just like, let's do this, fuckers. It was so good.
Right. So, yeah, so this is where, and before this, I think isn't this where Dickon is talking about like kind of how sad it was to massacre his friends. And so we see these Dothraki
like it's one thing to
screamers.
kill them, but they also shit themselves.
Like I used to hunt with those dudes. Like you can't kill people you hunt with. Like ask Robert. The hunting bonds run deep.
I found it hilarious, just kind of how Jaime was like, "How you doing, man?" And Dickon's like, "I don't know, kind of bummed out." I hung out with some of those guys. They're pretty solid.
I was hoping that like he would have been like, I hear you're gonna get High Garden. Like I'm not getting it. So
hey, buddy, gonna get High Garden. That'll make it better, right?
Yeah.
My name will still be Dickon.
Want to get McDonald's on the way back? Will that make you feel better, Dickon?
So then we get this crazy Dothraki charge where they're screaming and yelling, and it's just balls to the walls insanity going on, and then Drogon flies over and it's fucking crazy. And shit starts going down, and this is just great. And we see Tyrion kind of way back in the battle, just kind of sad. It's like he watches all of his people die, and the Dothraki makes a comment that Oh yeah, your people can't fight worth shit. Like, huh. I mean, it's an army. They're way outnumbered by a giant army of cavalry, so whatever.
And there's a goddamn dragon ensuing chaos just everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure though that Tyrion doesn't speak Dothraki, so when like the Dothraki just talk to him, he's like, "What the fuck is he saying?"
He's like, "Yep."
Yeah, I did have that moment. I was like, does he know Dothraki?
Yes, dragon,
that's
far
a good
away.
point. But you know what? He's had at least a few months to try to learn it on the voyage and all this stuff. So I would hope that he's picked up some of it, and he's better at it than his High Valyrian. Yeah.
Two really awesome things about this whole sequence is that I've said this last season, and I think that it's still true, is that it is a mixture of the sound department and the CGI department that is able to make this dragons just feel heavy when they're flying. Like, not only is this a giant creature, it is a very weighty creature. Like, you can just feel it when it passes overhead. Like, this is a tremendously weighty creature that's really hard to do with CGI.
Like
and
a whale.
Also, yeah.
Well,
and
I always felt like they felt like the winged things at the ring rates. Like, I remember seeing in the movie theater when he flew over like the dead marshes, and like the sound was just like,
because they're kind of lumbering, even though they're flying through the sky. Yeah.
Yeah, the one detail that's not there that I feel like there should be is that there should be way more dust when he beats his wings. Like, it should be like you wouldn't be able to see when these things are flying that low to the ground. It would just be a dust storm. But
like the little water thing.
Yeah, that was really cool. And his wing touched the tree. That was really a nice little detail. But the second thing is just like how unbelievably hot and powerful Dragonfire is, and that those guys got roasted, and then Jaime looks
like,
over,
turned to ash.
The wind just blows them away.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so good.
I mean, I don't know how. I don't know anything about acting or like what it's like to be on a set, but like the idea of setting all these poor extras on fire, must have been a really hard day on the set.
It's a living.
Yeah.
Lots of practical effects for that.
Yeah, I think they said like they outdid themselves from last year on how many people they set on fire during like one take, and I'm like, oh, I guess we saw that during like the Euron throwing fucking pitch fire onto the Greyjoy fleet. Like, oh, that must have been a tough day for him. But yeah, there were like multiple people. Like, there was one guy that like Bronn just like walks by that's like just on fire, like lumbering around.
He just pushes him out of the way.
That's like the worst job.
That's the cool thing is like in a lot of the scenes that we get when people are on fire, they're all doing the same thing where they're kind of just, screaming and waving their arms around. And here it felt like people had very different reactions. Like some of them are going for the water, some of them are ripping their helmets off, some are...
That dude that ripped off the helmet was gross.
Yes, falling over.
Anakin Skywalker.
It was all fucked up.
You just get like one dragon, you didn't even 3 dragons, like pointed at the army and it's done. Like, game over. There's nowhere you can win.
Right?
Unless
you got fucking Bard the Bowman.
Well,
yeah. So then we get basically, I mean, this is, it's, I guess, copying a number of things. But this is very reminiscent of the Hobbit movies. You got Ballista. What do they call this thing? What do they call it?
Windlass.
Scorpion.
The Scorpion.
Oh, in the Hobbit, it's called the Windlass. But he
so
sticks a bow and arrow on the side of a piece of wood to shoot the arrow at the dragon in that. Which
that's
stupid.
Way worse.
Fucking
But the best part is that like he's like, okay, we got that thing that can deal with the dragons, and Bronn's like, well, what are you looking at me for? Dude, I got one hand. I can't use it with one hand. And they're like, oh yeah, real convenient, Jaime. So he runs off, and it's on this, it's like it felt like I was almost in the Wild West for a second because like the cart just like flies open.
You mean the movie The Wild West?
Well, maybe even that, but like an old West movie, or like like in Westworld or something. They got the Gatling gun just like all of a sudden like shoots out of the wagon. But like it opens up, and I guess Qyburn designed this whole thing, which is pretty cool. But before that, Bronn like gets into it and just uses it to kill one dude.
Yeah, right.
That was great. I was like, I thought,
oh my god, you wasted the one shot.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But of course, he has more than one arrow. What was stupid.
So really, if it was that powerful, it would have gone right through him and not like pinned him up against the wall.
Yeah, it should have.
I was really glad that
they
one at a time. Katie?
I was really glad that when Braun, his gold scattered over the ground, I thought for sure that he was going to die because he was like trying to scoop it up desperately while someone comes up behind him. And I was like,
Alfred from The Hobbit.
Yeah, it's like, I'm glad that we didn't get that he was smart enough to be like, fuck it, I got to get to the scorpion.
Yeah, Braun is a badass.
So, I mean, they have the crossbow with them instead of at the Red Keep, where
they have one of them.
I'm assuming they made
would
more
make
than
more
one.
than one. Yeah,
I assume that they only made one, and they brought it on this like trip because they're like, you know what, the dragon might fucking attack.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as they thought they heard an army coming, like they maybe should have got someone to prep that thing. But
even when they saw the dragon, like one dude's like, "Hey, the dragon gun, let's get that."
Well, I think they were just so
Dragon gun.
shocked. And I mean, there's the one part that was a little hilarious is we have this giant army, and Braun tells Jamie to just like fucking run for it, like get back home because we're all about to die. And there's this huge charge, and they're breaking through the lines and all that. Except for right where Jamie and Braun are, it's like there's these people on foot fighting against Dothraki, like on horse, and they're just kind of like rubbing up against each other, fighting, like holding the line, which I thought was a little comical, but whatever. Yeah, so Braun, finally gets his shit going, shoots at Dany, misses. There's fire and shit everywhere. Shoots again and hits her. And this is, I thought, kind of interesting because if you look at the promo footage we got from before the season and like the footage for like the next episode, they edited the part. It's actually the photo I have for the Skype thread. Like they edited that part because that shot, he's actually got the arrow like sticking out of his side, but in all the promo images, it's gone. So that was kind of a clever bit of editing, I think.
I was very worried during the scene because I did not want anything bad to happen to Jamie, and I didn't want anything bad to happen to the dragon, and I was very concerned that one or both of them were going to bite it this episode.
Well, then D&D did their job, because I think they said after the episode, they said basically the same thing, that like you don't really want anyone to win or lose like in this encounter because we have like several kind of main characters facing off, and you're like, no. So it's like it's a unique experience, I think, for the show. And did anyone die? We're not really. Well, we're getting there, but we're not really sure yet.
Did. Jamie fell.
Well, did anyone?
Jamie fell full armor.
40 feet of water.
Yeah. So with his golden hand to weigh him down, that's what's going to do him in, man. So yeah,
he only has one hand to flip up with. Like to get to the
do we think is it more Jamie stupidity or Jamie bravery here? Because you see Tyrion just being like,
"Yep,
get the fuck out, run away. You know better." And he sees his chance, like, oh well, like Daenerys is sitting there. He thinks kind of vulnerable, and so he's like, well, maybe I can kill her.
Why can't it be both stupidity and bravery?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a little bit of stupidity and bravery, right? But I mean, I just mean like it's not really in him to run away here. I don't think, right?
I don't think that's in Jamie at all. Like
yeah.
In his character in the books, even like he doesn't run away from danger. He even jumps in that bear pit, even though he's missing a hand.
Yeah, but a bear is much different from a fucking dragon.
But if he can kill her, then like if
the war's
he dies,
over.
Yeah, if he dies, it doesn't matter because he's cut off.
What are the Rocky gonna do? Like they're just gonna be like, oh, she died. We're gonna go back over. They're gonna
but at the very least, like the dragon is not being controlled, and maybe that maybe it
which might be worse.
Well, maybe it starts burning sheep everywhere. I don't know.
Well, did you guys think it got? I thought it got shot through the neck, and then it's like in the shoulder.
At first, that's what it looked like, but then it was like
the pigeon dragon
right by the wing. You're like, yeah, pull that shit out, Danny. He's fine.
Do you think we're gonna get that Drogon is gonna bite it this season? Like he does get hurt in this episode, but like. He is like the most visibly recognizable dragon. He's kind of the most iconic one. We haven't really seen the other two up close. But if he's dead, then we don't have to worry about there being three heads of the dragon. It's just Dany and Jon on the other two.
And yeah, Dany just picks a new dragon. I did think about that. Like, what if one of them dies, we don't have to worry about three heads. But I don't think it's going to be Drogon simply because, it is Dany's dragon and he got injured here. So I feel like that's kind of like his like close call, and then maybe if they go to King's Landing, one of the other dragons is going to take it.
Yeah, but how does that work? Because she just took Drogon, and the other 2 dragons are like, what's going on?
They have no
Well,
Getting
riders.
stolen by John.
No, I know, but I tell the fucking dog to like stay in another room and go into another room, and he follows.
And
Like-
he pees and shits on your floor. What's your point?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess just
I'm scared, but
one, we like the CGI budget, but also, I guess like she needs like she's also trying not to set her own people on fire, so maybe like trying to coordinate 3 dragons into not burning the Dothraki horde alive might be in the forefront of her mind.
Right. This one she
the
seems to
show
be able to
hasn't gone
control.
into that. Like we talked earlier. Like in the books, they very clearly need a writer, or else they're not effective and can't really be controlled. And in the show, like we've seen them. The only time we've really seen them doing anything was burning that fleet in the bay at Marine,
which was
And
pretty
they were-
effective.
Yeah, but again, like they just were kind of following Drogon, like burn. I guess we're burning. You know,
There's only one-side ships out there.
Yeah, there wasn't any sort of. It didn't seem like Dany was making them do anything. It just seemed like they were kind of her wingmen and hanging
And
on.
Her strikes were more surgical in this. Like she was like taking out the road, the stuff.
Yeah,
on the
she
road.
was actually using like the she was using Dracarys. She was I don't know.
Breaking the shield wall for the Dothraki to charge in.
Yeah, I do love how she gets so pissed when she sees Bronn, like after the first bolt misses, and he's just like, oh fuck.
So in the next episode, are we gonna have Jaime wakes up on the banks of the river? Bronn is giving him CPR. Like, oh boy, glad we got out of that scrape. Close call.
What is dead may never
You're a
die.
good kisser.
It seems like something that the show would do is like end on something that is completely unsurvivable in the next episode. Well, that was a close call. Like, there's.
I wouldn't call
Jaime's
it
not dead.
unsurvivable. I feel like he could stand up. He can't be more than 3 feet of water. It's not like they flew.
No, he sank at the end. Like he
I
was
know he
sinking.
did. But he was riding a horse in that water like 3
In the
inches from where he
shallows?
just fell in.
He
How
fell.
did-
Like there was a shot of them
No,
like
I'm-
sinking into
I'm looking
40
at it.
feet.
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm looking
saw
at
that,
it right now.
but
There's
I don't
a shot.
buy
Yeah,
it.
they're falling deep. But at the same time, I think they're just fucking with us because they didn't give us the full like straight up death. Maybe Bronn is dead. Maybe one of them is dead. But like I highly
they're both
doubt.
alive.
Hey, remember the head brother on the Quiet Isle? He went into the river fully armored and washed up naked as shit on the Quiet.
Yeah, I mean, like you can get some of your armor off real quick, make it for the bank. But like this battle's still going on, so just because they didn't drown doesn't mean that they won't be captured and killed or something else could happen.
Or that they didn't
but-
get like hard boiled because like it's still dragon fire going over that fucking water.
Well,
so
it roasted their
bring it up
horses.
to,
It
like-
went kind of to the side where the horses were. So I think they're not supposed to be dead, but the ending does end. Like when we have a death like that at the end, we get like that silent credits. So it was silent for like a good 10 seconds or something, and I was like, oh, maybe he's dead. And then the music kicked in, and I was like, oh, okay.
I
don't
feel
know.
like he's gonna be captured, and we're gonna have some actual, like Peter Dinklage is finally gonna give something to do. Like him and Jamie. Are
Right.
gonna, yeah, that would be interesting if like Jamie was just a captive for the rest of the
Jamie's like,
season.
You fucking lied to me. You didn't kill my son.
Yeah. But did he say that in the books? Like, I feel like they didn't have that same.
No, he
like,
didn't say it in the show.
hard
He said it in the
Danny's-
books.
Denny's just gonna take him to Harrenhal and be like, back to prison.
Hug it out.
Into the bear pit.
Into the dragon pit.
Danny would absolutely, well, maybe not in the show, but I feel like she would kill him because he killed her dad.
Yep.
Then again, she seems like pretty content with pardoning people for shit
And
like
she's
that.
like,
so.
yeah, I recognize my dad was terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's definitely one of the people that she is not going to be just like, you're part of my squad now.
Yeah.
If somehow Cersei dies and he fucks off to the north, to help with the battle, I think that's kind of the only way we see him continuing on and being useful. I don't think he joins the Dany crew under any circumstances.
No,
Do
I
you
think Jamie and Cersei are both dead this season.
Do you think Bronn will join the crew and be like, yo, sorry, I was firing the ballista, but your boy Tyrion can really fucking vouch for bullshit.
I hope so. I hope he's just like, they promised me a castle. You got a castle? I'll fight for you. Like,
Bronn can't die.
He's like, yeah, I fired that thing at you, but to be fair, you were burning everyone alive. So
Hey, is
fair
that
am I
is
right?
that like river really close to the ocean? Could there be salt water in it, and Bronn could be reborn amongst salt and smoke? Just saying.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
What river was that? Was that the Mander or was that the Blackwater Rush? Or
I don't know. Where do they have plateaus in Westeros?
in Dorne?
Yeah, in Utah.
In the West.
I mean, this is like somewhere in Spain or something, right? I mean, I
Kill
don't
it
know.
with that
This was
accent.
all they don't shoot anything in America, guys. Come on.
Yeah, I've been to Spain and I don't remember seeing plateaus.
Okay, you've been everywhere in Spain.
Yeah,
Okay,
he saw
okay.
it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, I guess it's probably likely that they were going back along the Mander. Maybe, because that's where the road takes them. But yeah, I don't think it matters too much. It could have been like the Blackwater Rush if they were a lot closer to King's Landing, right?
And that's what what's his fucking Tarly face was saying, that the goat already made it over the Blackwater Rush and is on its way to King's Landing. I think that's what we're.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to look at that. I'll have to go back and look at that scene then, because I must have missed that.
happened to Randall Tarly?
Hopefully he's burned, or maybe he finally gave a fuck about his sword and was like, "Okay, now that we've done this, I'm heading to Old Town. We're now that we're this close, I'm just gonna make the rest of the way to Old Town."
You guys got it right. You guys are cool. I'll leave my son here.
Or maybe he's taking up residence in Highgarden. Someone has to occupy Highgarden, even if they just leave 100 Lannisters behind or something, right?
I mean,
I guess they don't have to.
Well,
But,
I mean,
yeah.
they still have like food and shit all active around there. Like you want a garrison to kind of manage that.
Yeah, but no one took over Castamere or Tarbeck Hall, right?
Or Dragonstone, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like castles, there's no point in having them if you're just going to leave 40 guys. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, I mean, you had Storm's End that had a very small garrison that's still holding out against Aegon, and held out.
Yeah,
against-
I mean, if you just need people to keep kind of the area managed, like the small folk in the towns and stuff, that's what I'm saying. Is you're not just going to leave it empty and then people just move in.
Why
Is the
not
whole
leave
point.
it empty? They don't care. Why do they care
No,
about
but-
Highgarden?
Didn't that?
Well-
Isn't that what happened to Winterfell when he moved in? They found squatters, and Roose Bolton said he wouldn't skin them if they worked for him, and he didn't.
Yeah, because Winterfell had burned
He's a
and shit.
fucker.
And it's also the north. I don't know. But at this point, because what's going to happen is if they don't leave someone, or if Tarly doesn't put men in there or whatever, some other lord is just going to mark it in and be like, "Well, Highgarden's mine now," and then it's a whole other bit of squabbling and I don't know, just be stupid.
Yeah, but at this point, isn't it pointless if you're to take over Highgarden and be like, Highgarden's mine now? Cersei would just be like, murder them all. It's just too contentious of a time. Just fight on one
maybe.
side or the
You guys
other.
are
and-
really
hopefully-
overthinking it for the show.
We are. We really are. Hopefully, people are smart enough to just kind of try to stay out of things until all of this is settled. Not pick a side, pull a late Lord Frey on this shit.
When the main characters teleport away, the castles stop existing.
Just the CGI disappears and it's just a hilltop like it once was.
Yep.
Yeah. So where are we going next week?
Going to Eastwatch.
Yeah, we're going to Eastwatch next week, or at least we see the Army of the Dead going to Eastwatch. So hopefully we're going to get some more going down. Do we think that this is
Brotherhood, right?
That's what I was gonna say. Do we think that this is that excursion above the wall with flaming sword and the Hound and all that? Are they gonna make it to Winterfell and go all at once, or?
Get some Hound and Tormund
I mean,
badassery.
so is Jon Snow let's see, is next week gonna be word that Eastwatch is in danger? Jon Snow and Dany finally hook up and head north.
How is he going to get any information? He's stuck on Dragonstone. How long is he going to be there while all
It's gonna take him an episode to mine that dragon glass, dude. We're gonna be fine. He's gonna get up there right away.
No, he'll leave from Dragonstone to Eastwatch just so they can delay the reveal that he's an actual Targaryen.
Oh, instead of him like just going straight up to White Harbor where he left from, where it makes a lot more sense.
How many episodes are left this season? 3?
It's 7, yeah. So we got 3 more episodes. I'm thinking maybe Eastwatch.
And the last one is 81 minutes.
Okay.
I'm thinking Eastwatch is our finale. Like like they usually do, kind of like the penultimate episode is the big battle or whatever, and then it's the mop up.
How many seasons do they have after this?
1.
Okay, well, I don't know. I was thinking maybe they'd wrap up with Cersei and Jaime.
Yeah.
I don't know. They probably.
And the last season is all White Walkers.
I don't know.
I don't know if there's just going to be one
people
big
are probably
battle.
listening to us, and like all the fucking scripts I think have leaked online or some shit. Like I think
For the rest of the show? What?
Well, I know that they released this week, and I don't know if they've released any other weeks, but I think like they're slowly leaking the scripts and shit online. Whoever did the hack. But yeah, people are probably listening to this and be like, "We know what's going to happen," but I don't know.
I don't know what's going to happen. I like this discussion.
Yes. So I feel like the season is going to end at Eastwatch with like a big whatever, and we've got 2 episodes to kind of deal with the Cersei Dany shit, and we're going to get like the walls broken through or something is going to be our finale.
You think the last episode will be the wall comes down?
The wall comes down, or they just like skirt beside it at Eastwatch. I don't know why they're going to Eastwatch. It's confusing. I'm like, the White Walkers finally realize like you can just go around this thing. Like I don't know.
The water's totally frozen. You can just walk on that.
Like, because that was the theory, right? That like when Bran was touched, they could get into the Weirwood where they were all at. So maybe there's no magic preventing them from crossing the wall, but it's still a giant wall. And the Night's King is like, I'll just go around it. Like I mean, that's too simple. I don't know.
So, question. I haven't been spoiled or anything, but this hack, it's only for the scripts, presumably for this season, because the ones for next season haven't been.
Oh yes, those haven't been written. Right.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was like something they're claiming that it's like 1.5 terabytes of data, and I think the Sony hack was like 40 gigabytes or something, or I don't know. It's like way more data that they got, so they don't know exactly what they got as far as like shows and stuff. I assume that they got a bunch of videos, but they claim they got every script for this season.
Look at the bright side. Maybe we'll get an internal memo explaining Raws.
Well, that's what I've been waiting for, is like all the behind the scenes stuff at HBO that's going to come out or something. And I'm guessing whoever did this like went until they got Game of Thrones scripts, and they're like, well, I've got like 15,000 other documents to go through. I don't know what they are.
They're like, I've got Westworld spoilers, and like, we don't give a fuck, man.
Yeah, they're like, well, we're gonna get.
We got it. Samurai World, whatever. Shut up.
Yeah, so I don't know. I might hunt down like the script leaks from this episode after this, just to see if they were accurate.
Good luck just finding that one.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what to do about that. Dang it. But yeah. So I mean, next week we've got. I think they're going to take an episode or two, and they're going to do this whole Jon and Dany thing, and then Jon's got to get back to Winterfell and figure out that he's a Targaryen. At some point, we've got to take King's Landing, maybe, right? I don't know.
Start the reunion.
King's Landing, or do we go fight the others?
Yeah, it could be that Dany just says, screw it. This North is more important. Something could change her mind, but it could be that Jaime and Cersei just hang out until the White Walkers come down.
Love will change her mind.
Okay. I really hope not. Like, I know the Jon Dany hookup thing is like a really prevalent theory in the fandom, but I don't understand.
The only thing I can see, and I don't know if the show would do this, is like they hook up and it's like, oh, this was kind of cool, but she's still probably cold, right? And then like one of the dragons like is all of a sudden like, what's up, Jon? And all of a sudden he's riding a dragon, and then she gets
so he can like smell her on him. That's fucking gross.
And he's like, I'll show you the wall. It's gonna be like Aladdin like riding on the carpet, magical.
So she like touches his face and she's like, you're cold, and he touches hers, he's like, you're hot, and they just bang it out.
By the way, I'm your aunt. Does that get you off?
The dragon's like, let me smell your dick.
The only way that I think that Dany just decides to march her shit north is if she takes a dragon up there or something and actually sees the threat. I mean, because she still seems to not be terribly convinced and is still very focused on killing the Lannisters. Whereas before she was focused on killing Lannisters, Starks, and Baratheons, but people have kind of beat her to a lot of that. So
Yeah.
she's got to have something.
Mostly
she joined up with a Lannister, so she's like, I got to kill at least one.
Yeah, so, I mean, judging from the previews, it looks like, obviously this season, Jon goes up north with Beric and the Brotherhood. They get kind of surrounded, and then it looks like he either looks up and, like, sees the Night King or sees a dragon coming to, like, save them all because, like, there's all these, like, creatures coming up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there was that money shot of Beric's sword going up and him holding it like a boss. And then there was
Obi-Wan Kaberic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like
And
he's
then-
gonna be this like mowing down whites, and then one of the White Walkers.
We're going to put in the
is gonna
sound
show up.
effect.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden one of the White Walkers will come up and be like, hey, you're dead. I can control you.
So do we have any theories on
Just
what's
touches him
going to
on the head,
compel
his eyes
them?
turn blue.
Because
Yeah.
they're north of the wall, right? So, like, what's going to
That-
make them go north of the wall?
I don't know.
We'll
The
have
rest
to
of the
watch
people
next
hard
week.
home.
No, there's no one at Hardhome. They're all zombies now.
So Tormund got Eastwatch
Right, he
because
sent Tormund to Eastwatch.
the rest of the wildlings are around there.
Well, he said that they were going to
I
have
feel
to
like
man
that was-
some of these castles, right?
Yeah, but Eastwatch by the Sea and like whatever other tower that they named, like have always been manned. Like they wanted to man the other towers that were.
Yeah, but there's like
Right?
20 people at Eastwatch. No, in the show, in the book, they're like, we're going to man all these. They're trying to man the entire wall so they can, whatever. But in the show, it's very simple. Like Eastwatch, I think, is what they've pretty much like. That's what they've named. That's what they're focusing on is Eastwatch. So I don't know. I mean, I guess because if there's word that the Night King is like marching and he's about to cross at Eastwatch, I don't think that Jon is going to go with like 5 dudes above the wall, at Castle Black. I think they're taking the whole army to go help, right? So there's got to be something. Maybe Bran has something for them, or I don't know. There's got to be some reason to go up there.
We know that with 10 good men, he can impregnate a bitch.
I don't know. Jon only needs 5 good men. We're getting it. We're getting
Okay.
down the numbers here. It was 20 for Ramsay. It's 10 for Tyrion and Bronn, and Jon needs 5.
Well,
Danny needs 0. She just needs herself.
Asha Yara needed 50 of the best killer, right?
Yeah. All right. So, do you guys have anything else you want to say about this episode or next week or anything else?
I love
This
that.
episode was awesome.
A solid
Yeah,
episode.
This was a really good episode. We all really enjoyed it. I hope everyone else enjoyed it. And next week,
Katie gave it a
let's
4.5.
see. I know, like Katie knocked it down a little bit. That's okay.
I probably would have given it a 5, and then you all loved it, and I was like, I gotta be the dissenting vote.
Katie
I can't give it a
Contrarian.
5. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, like the stuff that I thought was kind of silly. It's like super nitpick stuff, and like the romance in the cave. It's like I can laugh at it and have a lot of fun with it. So it's great. 5 out of 5.
Yeah. It was
It's fine. So I think next week, let's see. I don't know. We don't have an episode title for next week. Episode 5. That's written by this. It doesn't say who it's written by. It's directed by the same person as this episode, though. Matt Sharkman.
Shackman?
Yes. Or Shackman, whatever his name is. Sharkman's a cooler
sounds
name,
cooler.
man. Yeah.
I go by Matt Sharkman in a second.
Headcanon.
But I mean, he did a great job with this episode, so I can't.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping they had this whole action sequence. Maybe they brought him in to shoot some action. Maybe we'll get some more stuff like that. I don't know. So that'll be good. But I think next week Casey's going to be hosting. Thanks everyone for joining me, and we'll see you later.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was something.
Hello.
Hello.
That was some fucking awesome TV, is what that was.
Oh, fuck me! Hey! I have not wanted Skype, and Wait, I need to go. Sorry. Why did I wake up and said, my phone. So sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
Who's just talking?
I'm making no sense because I just woke up. I'm so sorry.
We just woke you up.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's okay.
And now I'm starting to make sense. I'm so sorry. I'll let you do your thing, and I'll see you later. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Catch up.
Yeah. So where are we going next week?
I'll probably just stay home and watch it. I don't really need to go anywhere.
Fuck you.
I have to go down to Connecticut for family thing, and then
You guys are not helpful.
Going to Eastwatch.
Thank you, someone. Yeah, next week we got
Katie. My name's Katie.
Oh my
the
god.
girl has a name.
Who are you?
This is all being cut out. Damn it.
Why? It's funny.
So we're coming up on episode 400, so that will hopefully be out within the next week or so.
What'd you guys do?
We'll see when we hit it.
Spoilers.
Yeah, we had a couple plans, but we ended up just basically doing an FCR for the Red Wedding.
Oh, that's cool.
Except we recorded it and none of the ladies could show up, so I had to do Catelyn for a bit, and then that will not actually. Oh, maybe that might be in the after show.
That better be after show stuff.
Bina is going to record the actual lines, and we'll cut them together. But you don't even want to know, man. You don't even want to know. George was in New York meeting with his publisher this week, and he made a joke. He made a joke about how, like, everywhere, I think it was something like, everywhere I go in New York, people are recognizing me and stopping me for selfies, but at my own publisher, no one knows who I am. Like, you jerk. It's like the security guard had to see my ID. I'm like, yeah, that's his job.
When people are like, oh, George
I haven't
visited
been
his
here
publisher.
since 2011.
Like, George visited his publisher. I'm like, yeah, he also posted some cryptic shit on his blog, which disappointed everyone.
Yeah, and then he was like, why would you be upset about that? And then he posted like a day or two before about, like, the calendar's looking good. I'm like, he's probably just there promoting the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Into the abyss we go.
So, yeah. Whatever.
I mean, don't get me started. Like, I put in the chat thread that today, in 1996, a Game of Thrones was released. Motherfuckers.
It's been around longer than I have.
How old was he when he first published Game of Thrones? Like, how old is George now? 70?
60s. I feel like
late 60s, early 70s, maybe.
I can do the math.
How old is he? Let's see.
You can do the math by Googling.
He's 68.
He's
so
68.
he was 48 in his prime, I guess.
I just
So
feel
you
like
think next year for his birthday he'll give us 2 ways?
He'll give us wild cards.
Yeah, I think that's something that actually we don't bring up enough is like George is a lot older than he was when he first put out Game of Thrones, and maybe at this point in his life he doesn't want to spend every day sitting alone in a room typing,
Yeah, I mean most people are retired
millions
at his age, and he's kind of semi-retired. But then with the show, he had so much other shit come up, press tours and I don't know. His life got a lot busier because of the show. So
apparently, wild cards is
all the wild cards.
Huge.
All of them.
Have any of us read Wild Cards?
No.
I have not.
No, and Greg refuses.
I've heard
to carry
they're
them
not
in the
very
store.
No,
They
Greg
could be
has
great.
them at the store now.
He had one, and then he said he was not going to order another one after it sold.
It could be amazing, and none of us would know.
Yeah.
What if that is like the
Why is
untapped
it that
reservoir of?
I'd be happy to read it after I finish a certain series I'm already on.
Why is it that none of us have read it? I mean, I guess
That's
it's
fair.
just the
That's
editor.
fair.
Is that why?
I think it's because we're embittered.
Yeah.
I mean, I only kind of really discovered them a few years ago, and I was like, oh, those look interesting. And like, I'm like, well, it had only been a couple years since Dance, so I was like, maybe I'll try to read one, but nope.
Song for Laya, Sand Kings.
Tough Voyaging's really good.
Yeah, I do
I
hear
haven't read
good things
That
about
is
Tough
good.
Voyaging.
But like some of his sci-fi shit, Second Kind of Loneliness, like, oh my god, like they're incredible stories. But like he was restrained to a short story format. He got through. And like I feel like this world just I think he's even said in interviews is like I don't want to use a budget. I want to use as many characters as possible, as many things as possible.
Right.
And like this is what a Song of Ice and Fire is, and now it's just like
I don't know.
I
Maybe I'll pick
think
up Wildcard sometime just for shits and giggles.
I mean, I know I'm fairly confident that we're going to be getting wins, at some point. Beyond that, I don't really know. So,
Sweet Summer Child.
How reassuring. Someday.
Hey, it's mostly done, right? Come on.
Yeah, because he announced it. All right.
We're
Hopefully
still putting our
fucking-
tinfoil on and thinking that he's just like holding off until he finishes writing all of them.
Hopefully his publishers are like, what the fuck?
I don't know. They can keep selling, the Book of Swords and the calendars and reissues and leather editions
World of Ice
and
and
chained
Fire.
editions and Rogue prints and World of
Fire and
Ice and
Blood.
Fire. And I mean, how many copies of the anthology books have been sold just because people wanted to read his stories that were in them? Since the show came out. Like, so he's earning for them. Like, I don't think that's the issue.
I think I laughed so loud I woke the baby up, so I gotta go, guys.